Now here's the problem. Women used to be able to take L's and just take them and move on. But now women want to legally pursue L's. And I think our grandmothers or great grandmothers, they would take an L and say that was an L and move on.
Camera guys.
But the problem is with oh, okay, it's okay. But the problem is with our generation of women. We want to legally, okay, a guy's controlling everything you do, and maybe something happens you didn't like. Now you want to take it to court, take his kids away, take half his shit, and then go around on the internet and call him abusive.
Oh yeah.
Now before,
if that's what I wanted to do, why did I take the charges
We just used to. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. I don't really
so you're
care.
chatting
But I'm
out your
talking.
arse,
I'm talking.
man.
No,
You're
I'm not chatting out of my. I'm not chatting out of my ass.
Yeah, you
are. Okay. What research? What research have you done?
It's all right for men to get away with things. They can do all of this and men don't speak up upon women. Men don't speak up upon women. So women do all this.
Mana, fica quieta, porque ela vai tentar envergonhar, não fala. Deixa ela falar.
I'm gonna keep going. I paid for all of this. I don't know what
Let's speak English. We're speaking English here. English viewers. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Now look it. Now here's the thing. We used to take out.
English, bro.
There she goes.
It is not our fault you are not equipped with another language like this one.
It's not my fault that you're not joking.
It's really great. I love the languages. I'm really impressed. But the problem is women used to take our L's and just move on. You know, we would take an L. Maybe something happened in a relationship we didn't like, but now we go to the court system and take away his kids and half his assets. So my question is, what do you know about family law? What do you know about the court system?
I know quite a bit still due to the fact that my auntie is a lawyer. Thank you very much. But I don't need to.
No, what do you know?
But that's the thing. The same thing that you're saying. The same thing that you're saying.
It should be so easy to talk about.
The same thing that you're saying.
I'm so shocked.
So women can take all their L's and everything because men don't do that. Men don't do that. Do you know how many men go through what they go through and everything, and they don't say nothing? It's the same fucking thing. Abuse is abuse. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who you're getting at. And you shouldn't be getting it.
What is abuse? What is abuse? What is abuse?
There's different levels.
What is it? Okay. There we go. There we go back to it.
There's a gaslighting, which
what's the definition? What's the definition? What's the definition?
She's starting to talk to you, bro.
What is the definition? What is the definition? Well, because you don't know, but that's the problem. And this is the problem. Like, I don't know why. I don't know how you so confidently talk about something you know nothing about.
You know nothing about it. I'm the one that got through.
No, okay, I'll give you an example.
Because you had one relationship and did research for 1 year.
I'll give you an example. I can give you an example.
Go on.
Okay. So I'll get one thing that most women don't know is that in family court, it's actually all determined by a judge, and it's not based on evidence. It's based on a balance of probabilities, meaning it's more likely that he did it than not based on evidence. So meaning a woman can go cry on a stand and a judge can just say, well,
a man
she's
could do
crying.
the same thing.
No, but then why? Okay. If it was so effective for men, then why don't they do it?
But
because
men
they're
have been
embarrassed
getting
and they
away
got
with
ego and pride.
Okay. What percent of custody is given to men? What percent of alimony is given to men? None of it. So, and this is now she's Googling because she doesn't know. I could tell you off the top of my head. I know, this is the funny thing. This is the funny thing. I just don't know. I don't know why. It's like...
I told you before the show. I told you before the show, no phones.
Pearl, do you know what's crazy, right? I'll tell you for sure. Okay. A lot of the reason
she is abusive herself. I bet that's why.
Vai com calma, deixa eu falar.
Oh yeah. Big old yeah. You know,
you two can have a fight after. I beg, relax now.
I mean,
Pearl,
I'm pretty big. I don't think she'd want that.
Pearl, don't worry because she's Angolan. Yeah,
I'm an
be
athlete,
careful with that word.
I mean?
So was
don't worry, be careful. We are Africans too, so be careful.
And what?
Anyways, man, esquece.
Anyway. You seem pleasant.
All right. Okay, step away for 2 seconds.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, again, you guys are very emotional right now. All she's simply saying is that abuse in general, from a legal standpoint, has morphed over the years to fit an agenda.
Yeah.
And it's,
no, that's not all she's saying.
Well, it's certainly more subjective.
That's the foundation. That's the foundation of what she's been saying.
It's certainly more subjective.
Thank you, Myron. Thank you.
Could you agree? Could you agree it's more subjective though? Could you at least agree it's more subjective? in these emotional cases? Because that's where the problem lies, isn't it? It's defining it.
It's not just emotional though.
Right,
you
but
can literally
law is subjective in nature anyways.
And the thing is that men go through it a lot, but they just don't own up to it, and that's the maddest thing. Like,
sure,
it's crazy. A lot of guys go through this the most as well when it's emotional and mental, and they won't think it's abusive or
controversial
anything like that.
take. Maybe it's not that pertinent.
Do you see what I'm saying? They
maybe
just take
hold on,
it.
but what
that's
about what if maybe it's not that important? It's not pertinent.
What?
But I swear Pearl just said...
It's not important.
But Pearl just said,
yeah,
she said that in
like,
only 50 Catholic divorces end in a man killing himself.
Every relationship...
Things like this, men actually worry about a lot of things.
No. Well, yeah, because the court says no. Because I'll give you an example. It's not because they don't talk about it. I'll give you an example, Janelva. So one man that I interviewed, that I would not be surprised if I would not be surprised if he took his own life, because the mother of his kids said he touched the child. And she never took him to criminal court. You
can say what you want on Rumble.
She destroyed his reputation.
What if he did, Pearl, though?
And what if he did? Then why didn't she go to criminal court? And because criminal court, you guys don't know the difference. That's what I'm saying. She doesn't know anything. That's the problem. Family court is not based on evidence. It doesn't put someone in jail. It's only to get resources from men. That's what family court. I'm not talking about you, but Denalva was saying that these men kill themselves in divorce court because they're not opening up about their feelings. No, it's because women are financially ruining them. They're taking after their shit. They're taking their kids and they're ruining their reputation. I've interviewed men that are homeless. Like it
can happen. I do agree. It definitely can happen.
It's made me homeless. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing.
Are you
so you go on about men,
but nobody is talking about you.
Yeah, but that's the maddest thing.
I don't really care if you get mad because
you give so much sympathy to a man.
Ladies. Hey. What she's saying, she's speaking in general, which means she's not talking about you. She's simply telling you that in the family court... Look, hold on, be quiet.
Damn.
Be quiet, man.
What the fuck, bro?
She's not talking about you. She's speaking generally. And also understand, ladies, because that's another thing, too, a good point. Family court and criminal court are two different things. In criminal court, there's a way higher burden of proof. Right? I don't know what it is in the UK, but in America, I'm assuming in the UK it's very similar, right? Beyond a reasonable doubt.
No, that was
and you're
a good
judged
point.
by a jury of your peers.
I know.
But in family court, a woman can sit there and be like, oh, he touched my daughter. What proof do you have? I have like this one thing here. And they can use that and effectively destroy that guy because the burden of proof is way lower.
And GL, this is like a white people conversation, because in my community where I come from, actually what you're saying is true.
I've interviewed.
It's a white people thing. I'm not gonna lie.
I've interviewed. That's not true. I've interviewed Pakistani men.
It's a white people thing. Trust me.
I just want to say.
Let's let her go.
I just want to say that it was quite an interesting point. I didn't know that, and I definitely do believe that there are women who play the system to their needs. Men ultimately do suffer because the default reaction of many judges and people in power are to believe people who they perceive as less powerful, which in this case are women. But that doesn't take away from the fact that there are there's a multitude of factors that constitute to abuse and lead up. If you're saying the physical part of it is what is abuse, there are loads of different factors that then ultimately contribute to that final event.
I want to ask you a question. Okay. Yeah. What constitutes that someone abused someone? What would you base it off of?
I would base it off of the lead up, the series of events that led to the final event.
But how would you know they happened? You would need what?
You'd need evidence.
Okay. And you only get that in what?
Doctors' reports, police reports.
But what court do you get that in?
The criminal court.
Okay, so why don't women go to it?
Women do, but they don't. It's like
the overwhelming. It's the majority of women don't.
But a lot of the time,
the majority I'm gonna tell you, and then you can go.
Fine.
The majority of police reports that are filed when it comes to rape, SA, like all of that stuff, they're not pursued, meaning they don't have enough evidence.
Because women are emotional, which is the point that we've all been trying to make. More times than not, women are emotionally, if you've had the man's kids, you've known him since you were 17, you've grown up together, you are afraid to take that step and ultimately see him go down for that. Like she was saying,
whose fault is that?
it's the woman's fault. Fine,
Right, but
it shouldn't.
There you go.
It shouldn't have happened in the first place.
I'll tell you, but the problem we have in this society is we automatically believe women when women's nature is very.
I understand that,
but women's nature is very deceptive.
I understand that.
And so naturally,
yes,
I don't think we should believe women. I actually think we shouldn't believe women because the thing is, if I really believed that someone was abusive, a criminal, all of this stuff, why wouldn't I go to criminal court?
We take into account that there's listen, relationships are multifaceted. They're not as clear cut as we are making it out to be. There's so many factors at play.
But
when we talk,
you agree that leads into what I'm talking about, the subjectivity.
Okay.
When we're talking about these other forms of abuse, like coercive control, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but how do you define that? And how do you know it's not a subjective opinion versus it being an objective fact? That's the issue.
But then we look at the series of events that led up to the event. And,
but what would the series of events be? So woman gets... Wait. I just want to hear from her, guys, so go ahead.
No problem. Woman gets pregnant, now she's on maternity leave. She doesn't have the finances to support herself. Man gets,
But then why did she make the decision to get pregnant if she can't afford it?
Thank you. It's her fault.
No, things happen in relationships. And if you're Catholic, I'm Catholic too. A lot of Catholics do not believe in abortion. Accidents happen.
Especially I don't believe in abortion, right?
If you are in a union.
Or having sex with a guy that you're not married to.
Yeah, let's assume because these things happen in marriages as well.
So I have
they consummated their marriage.
I have an opinion that I don't know if you guys would agree with. I think women should really pay for their own kids, okay? Because I'll tell you what. It's like, okay, the average woman gets married at 30, has one, maybe two kids. You've had a decade to save money. Why can't you pay for it?
What?
Why can't? No, seriously. You have a decade. You have a decade to save money.
Get yourself in a family.
Listen, pal, we have biological clocks.
On top of that, I'm serious. But women, right now, women are choosing. Yep. We're choosing. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying this is what we're doing to wait till 30 to have a child. Yeah. Okay. To get married and have kids, we're waiting. Okay. Fine.
100. Yeah.
But you've had a decade to save money and get in a financial position to pay for it.
I agree.
So it's just like we want both. We want the traditional treatment, but also to wait. I don't care what you want. It's fine, but then pay for it.
Yeah, but the man also makes the kid. It takes a semen and
she's not in the bedroom on her own.
And the egg. So
sometimes men are the ones that want kids more than the women.
And now we have
hold on. But they don't have 50-50 choice.
Of what?
Correct.
Okay, if you get pregnant tomorrow, who decides if the kid lives or not?
You do.
My body.
Okay, your body, your choice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the authority to make that decision, right?
Yes.
What comes with authority?
Power.
Okay, well, I was going to say responsibility.
Oh.
Yeah, women tend to forget that part. They tend to forget that part. They like the power and the authority, but they don't want to deal with the responsibility.
Yeah, the responsibility
so if you have unilateral control of who gets born and not, and you decide, I'm going to have this child against the whims of the man, you should pay for it.
Okay, then that's the same reason why women get most custody and then get full alimony.
That's not true. Women get custody.
By going by that logic.
Women get custody because the court system favors them.
No, but okay.
And I'll tell you what.
Go on.
And men are punished for being traditional in this country. They are, because the way the court system and see this, I'm gonna talk about this because I know things. Unlike this one over here, no offense. Because the way I don't really care if you went through it. You don't know anything about the legal code. So okay, I'll tell you why. I already know you don't. So it's okay. It's okay. So okay, I know. Women, it's easy to file restraining orders. I know you don't really need any evidence. So again, this means nothing.
No,
even so okay, I'll continue.
And they looked at my whole body.
All right. Bro, don't prod her so much.
There was a witness.
Don't prod her so much.
Sorry.
To make your point.
Make your point. I'm sorry, Myron.
There was a whole witness there as well. What is wrong with you?
I don't really know what your situation was. So again, I'm talking in general.
She got chill out.
I'm talking in general.
It's fine. She got chill out.
You're talking in general, but you came at me.
I'm talking in general.
You penalized it at me. Unlike this one that doesn't know what she's on about.
I mean, because the reason I said that is
we need to be respectful of people's experiences.
I'll tell you, the reason I said that is because I asked you specific. The reason I said that, I asked you really specific questions earlier to see if you knew what you're talking about, and it was just clear you didn't. Don't know about your situation. Maybe you were right. Maybe you're wrong. Don't really care.
Oh my God.
I'm done.
All right, make your point, Pearl, and then stop prodding her, please. Go ahead.
Okay. So, but I actually forgot the point I was going to make. I'm going to be honest.
Well, the point, because you don't have.
I'll remind you. So the point, Pearl, the point was you're trying to explain why women actually are the ones that get custody and most of the alimony.
Yeah. Actually, I do remember. Okay, because the way the code is written, it's basically the person that spends the most time with the child. Yeah. Well, if a man wants to protect and provide for his family, who does that punish? The guy for doing the right thing.
But the children spend more time with the mothers. Sometimes men are not as involved.
Correct.
But it's because children that want to go with the woman.
It's because they're at work, though. Yeah. And then if you look at let's talk about what's in the best interest of the child. When you look at single father homes, they fare very similar to two-parent households. When you look at single mother homes, they become criminals.
I didn't know that. Yep.
They become criminals, drug dealers, school shooters. Every really problem that you can look at in society comes from single mother homes. Single father homes, not the same.
What's the name of the Jeff Dahmer, whatever his name? Wasn't his mom and his dad kind of together, and then he ended up with his dad?
I know there's exceptions. There's exceptions.
Serial killer.
There's exceptions to this,
but there's exceptions, but it doesn't make the rule. Single father homes fare very similar to single mother homes. So
and his mom was also a drug addict. What the
Well, isn't the dad a fool for going for a drug addict and getting her pregnant? Come on.
Yeah, choosing the wrong partner and held accountable for his choices.
What does that? Hold on. You're great at just straw manning a random point that has nothing to do with it to try to make a point, but that doesn't make sense.
Well, you just mentioned his mom being a drug addict, and I just mentioned the father chose a drug addict.
Yeah, but that doesn't change the fact that single father households fare way better than single mother households.
Point that shows you that
you just used an example of a serial killer from the fucking 1970s. Yes. Because he committed his first murder, I think, in 1975. You use that as an example to say that what?
The same way you guys use basis and out of context statistics from studies that you pull out of Google. Come on. As an educated woman, I do know that all the stats that you guys repeat a million times they copied from Kevin Samuels. So I'm just saying.
You literally just use an exception to the rule. And like I said before,
I'm doing this humor because it's funny, because it's ridiculous.
His mom was a drug addict, and that fucked up his life, too.
Listen. I'm bringing it up simply because I think it's ridiculous what you're saying. His
mom was the degenerate, not his dad.
I'll give you an example. I come from a home where there's only a mother.
Your opinion.
And again, I'll give you another example. I'm a living one. My mom is a single mother, really, a widowed mother, really, who raised her kids from when we were 12, and some of us were even 2, right? Okay. And we're cool. We're not drug dealers, not criminals.
Okay, stop. Hold on one second.
Congrats.
Thank you.
A lot of the women on the panel, I've noticed this trend, and I mean, this is the same shit in Miami. It's amazing. You go over the pond, nothing changes. We'll make an objective argument about a generality on how the world works. You guys will hear that, internalize it, and say, well, that doesn't apply to me, and then go ahead and yap about how you're different. Yeah. Fantastic. But in general, what we're saying is true. The court system does favor women over men. They win most of the custody battles, even though they might not necessarily be a better parent on paper. Shalia just told y'all the woman is going to get custody most of the time because she spent more time with the child in the child rearing years. But that might not necessarily make her a better mother because the man was doing his job, which is protecting and providing, which is what y'all all want, by the way. Mm-hmm. So the court system is heavily in favor of women. And then men, 90% of alimony is paid from men to women. So it is absolutely true that everyone knows that the court systems in the West in general are fucked and geared towards females, which it is what it is. That's a fact, ladies.
But a lot of the time, men don't want involvement with their children.
Well, I'm not sure that's true.
A lot of
a majority do. A majority do. It's just that there's a bunch of roadblocks in the way, whether it's the woman not allowing the man to be involved, right? Because she wants to hurt him. She'll make lies up about him. Lawyers a lot of times will advise men, hey, it's not worth it to go to court. You're going to lose. So they don't even bother fighting it.
Fine.
It's an uphill battle. So there's a bunch of things that get in. But most men, of course, there's deadbeat fathers.
Yeah, of course,
absolutely. Yeah. But most men, I would say, definitely want to see their kids, just that they don't have the opportunity to. Because a lot of women use kids as
weapons,
a weapon. And weaponize them against the man to get compliance or just hurt them because they're mad about some shit. So again, you guys got really emotional about this abuse thing, but everything we've said is fact. They have changed the definition of abuse for a while.
Fresh, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did you grow up with both parents in the home?
No.
Are you a drug dealer?
I was.
Okay. That's good then. I just wanted to make sure, you know what I'm saying?
To be fair, I was a roadman.
You're a roadman?
I was a roadman.
You're a trapping?
Trap star.
Okay, you're trapping. And so would you say your mom's a bad mom because she was a single mom?
Wow. I would say my opinion is relevant.
No, I'm just asking.
Because it's a general statement.
No, I do understand. But like, for example, if I can say that my mom's a good mom and she was on her own, you can say the same thing. Perhaps it actually may not be the majority. This is the thing. I really think that
we are in a small room. Us two, sample size is not.
Well, let me tell you, a lot of these studies that these people pick up on are sample sizes of 100 or 1,000 when there's billions of people in the world. And they'll pick also demographic.
Name any study.
Hold on.
Name any study.
Wait.
Name one.
Wait. No, one for you. Can you stop talking?
Sorry.
I beg. You're really gassed today. You're really excited. I do understand, obviously. It's your place and everything, but relax. Listen, a lot of the time.
I just want you to keep talking about these studies. Name one. Name one.
Listen, the basic nature of studies are you take a pool of people.
Name one.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Any study.
By who?
Look,
listen,
any
study that you do,
the numbers all. Okay, let me just stop. Stop.
It's a pool of people.
Stop. If you go into prison and you look at the inmates, if you look at drug addicts, if you look at homeless people, if you look at degenerates in general, alcoholics, all the fucking vagrants of society, most of them come from single mother households where there wasn't a father there. This is irrefutable fact.
Okay, can I then tell you something? In America, I generally believe that it might be, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the majority of the population that is incarcerated is black men, isn't it? Well, what does that say about black men if that's a stat?
They commit a majority of the violent crime.
But what else does that say? Because you guys are trying to say that women use the court system to, manipulate men. And in what you're trying to do is to create this whole idea that because women are the ones that have the children most of the times the woman getting divorced, then women must be just assholes the same way that black men the majority of black men in comparison to the rest must be awful.
You mentioned earlier,
what the hell is that argument?
I'm just explaining to you the parallels.
How
you can
What?
No, I'm just explaining to you how you can use numbers to paint anything, and that's why it's important for you to not use it contextless.
Give me one.
You yourself, hold on. You said earlier women have power, right? Well, in the court system, they have power. It's simple. So in that instance,
didn't say that.
Who said that? That power.
We were talking about.
They were talking about it earlier, weren't they?
Regardless, that's where they have that power anyway. So
what is your argument precisely?
Well, my argument precisely is simply to say it doesn't matter what studies you're talking about because they don't actually reflect the real reality. Because studies and all these statistics are based on a limited pool, on normally a limited demographic that does not represent what happens.
So you disagree.
And the reason why I say that, and the reason why I say
any study.
I can pick any study. Listen,
pick one. Who made it?
Pearl, any study.
Just one.
Pearl.
One study. No. You're criticizing the studies.
Pearl.
Name a study.
Pearl.
Name one. None.
Any study, even studies.
Any study.
Hold on. Let me get this right. Let me just get this right.
Sorry, Myron.
So are you saying that because the argument is single mother households lead to fucked up children, which then end up growing up into fucked up adults?
Cool.
You don't agree with that?
I don't agree with that.
With the plethora of studies, meta-analysis, which combine other studies that show that single mother households absolutely contribute to the degradation of society. You don't agree with that?
Okay, and can I explain to you why I don't agree with that?
Go ahead.
Because I think that's important.
Okay.
Right?
Do you agree with 1 + 1 is 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of. It also depends.
Incredible.
Well, in China, they do say that once you add one drop of water to another drop of water, it becomes a bigger drop, not two. So
that's not what I asked.
No, I'm
it's
just
numbers.
saying.
That's water.
I'm saying, but no, that's still two quantities going into one. I'm just saying it depends on how you look at it. And the whole point is that when you look at numbers, it all depends on how you're looking at it and what you're choosing those numbers.
Yeah, you are
mad. You're
mad.
I'm just saying.
I gave you a very straightforward question.
Mad.
And you just conflated it into like a Chinese proverb or some shit.
Listen,
this is what I'm trying to say. This is why y'all can't be in leadership roles. This is why.
You asked me about 1 + 1 when you were asking me about a contest, and I said, "Can I explain?" And you didn't let me.
So I just gave you a funny
answer.
This is insanity.
So let me ask you a question.
Because what you're objectively telling me right now is you don't agree with facts.
Okay, can I explain something?
You don't agree with facts.
I don't agree with those because facts, especially when it comes to statistics, they're also subjective, and I'll explain to you why.
They're not all subjective. You can't write off all studies.
How are stats calculated?
Okay, so I'll explain to you. For example, I'll give you a very non-gendery
please,
study.
just give me the.
For example,
can you make it simple? Just give me the.
Shush.
Give me the.
Let me talk then, since you told people to shush, to tell you to shush. So you have a statistic. You take a pool of 1,000 people. With those 1,000 people, you will test a few things, and then you see 50% of these people said this and 50% of these people said this. Based on this limited pool of information that we've got, of this limited pool of people, we can assume that 50% in general of people in general in the world do this. That's how people use stats, and that is not true. Because when you actually analyze real life and the demographic of things, there's way too many variables that will completely destroy every statistic that you use, depending on the context that you put it in. That's why I don't need to listen to you tell me statistics and say 9 out of 10 and this out of 10, because depending on the context, it does not make sense.
Then explain to me, right? Because this is objective. Explain to me how most prisoners, most drug addicts, most losers in society, most degenerates come from single mother households when polled.
Well, it depends on how much, on the pool that you use for, first of all, the prison. It depends also on the circumstances of the single motherhood. It depends on where they grew up. It depends on a million different things.
Father was absent.
That's okay, but it doesn't mean that that's the reason why they went into that.
So what are the chances that all these people end up in prison and they all don't have dads?
And also,
what are the chances? Or they're bums on the street, or they're homeless, or they're broke.
There are a lot of people that come from families where they have the father who is also a drug dealer or whatever, and they also go into that road despite having 2 parents. So all I'm telling you is you need to actually analyze the pool of information that you're checking before you start saying all these big words like they're facts, because they're not facts.
They're
facts depending on what you're looking at.
But you're conflating all. You're basically saying all studies are flawed. Not every single study has got 1,000 participants. Some studies have really.
I just want her to name a study. Any study. Any study that's flawed.
Listen, Paul, I've done too much education.
He said there's a plethora of studies that demonstrate this. We're not talking about one study with 1,000 people.
It's irrefutable that 2-parent households, like the degradation of the nuclear family, is what's led to the decline of civilization. This is a fact. This is not like, oh, I don't agree with it. Well, I don't know what to tell you. But like the reality is, when you look at every degenerate in society, from prison all the way to homeless people, drug addicts, most of them come from single mother households.
I think that the degeneration of society comes really that more to the weakening of men. That's it.
Regardless, the father isn't present, is my point. That's the bottom line.
Could I please get any study?
I would. So then let me entertain that one. So then if the father is not present, then obviously clearly it must be the mother that is the problem, because father's not being present.
I never said that.
No, I'm just putting that on the table now so we can transition.
No, like you just, dude, like this is insanity, man. Like
not really.
It is, because I'm telling you objective truth and
you're
fact,
not.
and you're saying I don't agree with it.
It's based on your context.
So look,
it's not my context. It's done by scientists that are more educated than you, by the way.
Listen, there's a lot of scientists that are more educated than me that do a lot of rubbish.
And then they
because
also,
everybody's so much more educated than me, the world is so perfect.
And they went out in the streets and they went ahead and polled these people.
Scientists, the same people that made the vaccines for COVID. Scientists that have been scaring people and using all sorts of techniques.
Stop talking.
Just saying.
Stop talking.
Go on.
Okay?
Talk alpha.
What are the chances that all these people polled that are degenerates come from single mother households? That's not a coincidence.
Okay. I'll have to look at that study, and I'll definitely have a check. And I'll check the demographics.
So how do you, as the educated person, determine the facts then? How do you do it?
I determine the facts based on actual lived experience and research. I don't listen to... Yes, and I'll tell you why.
So your experience is better than everyone else's?
No, it's not that my experience is better than everyone else's, but I don't need to accept your facts because you think them.
There's alternative facts.
Listen,
it is not our facts.
Listen, let me tell you something.
The facts of the world.
I know, but you know what? Because I've learned a lot how to, do research, primary research especially. Okay? So I am the sort of person...
Why can't you name any studies?
I beg, stop. I beg.
See, and people say, "Oh, we want educated women on the panel." You got a master's degree, right? You got a master's degree,
and that's why you need to kind of let me finish.
Yeah,
so I told you.
No, but this is what I'm trying to say.
The whole time.
No,
education doesn't change anything.
You have.
You know what? Real quick.
People get mad when bring educated women on. This is what y'all get.
Real quick. How do you feel about this over here? You didn't say anything because they were talking the whole time. How do you feel about this?
Okay, so basically, this lovely lady is saying over here is she's not she's like, okay, look, Myron, you have the facts, yeah? The data that you're pulling up from the studies.
Yeah.
Pearl's like, quote me, the data.
Any data.
Right? Mm-hmm. What she's basically trying to break down is that life is full of variables, right? But what scientists don't analyze, I suppose, when they're putting the data together is people's life experiences. It's very black and white. Yeah.
So,
but not necessarily, because the problem is we're talking about studies that we like we're not even looking at specific studies here, but we're talking like if he's saying in general terms, if there's an absent father in the household, that leads to degeneracy, to criminality, etc., etc. What is the common thread? But it's not just a view, is it? This has been demonstrated in multiple, a plethora of studies, right? If that is the common thread, then that has substance, right? That means something, right?
I don't even think women are more nurturing than men. I'll tell you what. Because they're more likely to abuse children and the elderly. I don't even think women are more nurturing. I think that's like made up stuff that women do or say to make themselves feel better. Because it's like if we, infanticide or whatever, which is when a kid's killed in the first year, it's like primarily done by women. It's like rare for that man ever does it.
I'm like in general like quite interested in the statistics. So what's the percentage of men who go to jail for violent crimes or crimes against children, paedophilia, all of that in comparison to women?
Okay, so I think that women are more violent than men.
But not what you think. I'm talking about stats.
So I'm gonna get to it. I have stats on some of these chicks. But so when you look at violent crime, it is mostly done by men. But I think that's kind of unfair. Women can't do violent crime the same way that men do.
I mean, if you're an American, you have guns.
But so what do I look at when women have power? Women are more likely to wage war. They looked at queens the last 500 years. They said, who's more likely to wage war, kings or queens? Queens. And then they also looked at women. They're more likely to kill infants. They're more likely to kill the elderly. It just seems like when we get power, we're just not very good with it.
But then what are the statistics? I asked for the statistics.
Well, I know. So I'll give you an example. So infanticide, which is when babies are killed in the first year. It's basically unknown that it's very rare for men to ever do it.
But what are the statistics? What are the numbers?
Give us the numbers then.
Well, all I know.
Give us the statistics that these chicks don't got.
All I know.
I mean, I don't know them.
I'll tell you what. I Googled it because I was curious the other day, and it just said that police rarely ever find a male person that killed a baby within the first year.
I'm asking for the statistics, the numbers, not what you read, the numbers. What's the percentage?
Okay, it's 99% female. Are you
sure?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have to check that.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
I'll
take your word for it.
I mean, to back up what you said about women being more violent, lesbian relationships have the highest rates of domestic violence by far. Way than everybody else.
Okay, but that's a dynamic between two women.
But that's what she's trying to explain is that women actually are more prone to violence.
In the dynamic between two women, but
when men
abuse each other just as friends anyway.
Not really.
When men commit crimes, it's for a reason. Now, I'm not saying it's a good reason, right? Like for example, one reason that I've heard is respect. Like they'll fight each other for respect or whatever. But I think you can really see who's more violent, who kills the innocent. I mean, 1 out of 3 women's had an abortion. One out of 3 women kill their own child.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you look at even after the kid's born, within the first year, women do it primarily. So who kills the innocent?
There's a lot of men that kill their girlfriends,
but if women could and had the same physical force, I would argue that they would do it more.
Well, it's not that.
Some men actually force you. Some men actually force you to get an abortion.
I'm sure.
Or they will stress you to the point that you lose the child.
Okay, there
are some men like that. Or they will hit you.
I am sure.
Or they will hit you.
I don't know what men you guys are dating. I don't know what men you guys.
That's what I'm saying. All the statistics are not there because not everything gets filed in everyone's life.
What's your argument? Hold on. What's your argument?
No, some men, they will actually push you and make you get the abortion. You might want to keep the child, but they will like, no, you have to fucking
I won't be there,
Yeah.
I'll
you
get the
abortion. Yeah, you'll be there. Men that have actually done that. There are some men that will get violent. They might hit you, find out you're pregnant before you know it. They want to hit you or all that shit in order for you to lose the baby.
Reality is,
or they will stress you like a motherfucker because stress also kills the child.
But who makes the decision, though? I'm
not going to lie. If a man threatened to kill me, I probably would keep the baby.
Okay, but who makes the decision? Okay, see, there you go. She just answered it. The women make the final decision, right?
Yeah, but men still have a play to part.
That's part of the coercive control.
I'm ready. Can I go?
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your response to that? What's your response to that?
My response is that why would you get pregnant by a guy? Why would you get pregnant by a guy that doesn't want to be a father? I mean, we have what, 5? Let's go 5 days a month. We ovulate.
It's just like saying, why do you guys impregnate women that don't want to be mothers?
We have condoms.
Why do they do that?
Why do you
wait. Can we? Shh. Okay. So you can get an IUD. You can get on birth control. You can get that patch. You can take the pill. You can wear a condom. You can take a Plan B. There's so many options. It's like men invent all of these options for us to just not be retarded. They're like, take a pill every single day so you don't get pregnant.
So it doesn't actually always work. There are people that have got pregnant.
They're like, here's an IUD. Here's an IUD so you don't get pregnant. We invented this for you. We can't do that. It's like, okay. After that, here's an abortion. We'll do that for you. Then we can't do that. Oh, here's child support, alimony.
So if women are so irresponsible, why can't men just wear condoms? If we're so irresponsible, why can't they make the decision for us?
You can't put out.
If it was up to me,
why do men impregnate women that don't want to be mothers as well?
But why don't the women require the men they sleep with to wear condoms?
No, I get what you're saying, Pearl. I understand what you're saying.
So okay, wait. I want to talk about all the choices we have. So many choices. It's crazy. So you could wait till marriage. Okay, most people don't do that. Fine. You can only sleep with men you want to have. You can only sleep with non-abusive men you want to have children with. Okay, there's an, I know, crazy. So then on top of that, you could require the men you date to wear condoms. Crazy, I know. On top of that, you could get an IUD. Crazy. On top of that, you can get, you can take a pill once a day. On top of that, there's the patch. On top of that, there's Plan B. On top of that, there's abortion. It's like, how many choices
That doesn't sound very Catholic of you.
Now, look at my morality. I'm saying the choices that are available. I'm not saying what I think is moral. That doesn't matter.
I get what you're saying.
So my point is, why is this so hard?
I get what you're saying. I think a lot of the time women do make the wrong choices in terms of picking men, but we also have to account for the fact that by nature, women innately want to have families. They want successful marriages.
I don't think so.
By nature, no.
Maybe not you.
Innately, women do.
No, seriously, I'll tell you why I don't think so.
Okay.
Now I know this is crazy.
Sure.
Now I know I think a little differently. I don't know, but I think if women we wanted to have families, why is it that when we got the choice we didn't have them? So because basically they gave us birth control in the 70, I can't remember, 60s, yeah, 60s.
Yeah.
So now we have the choice to do whatever we want, and none of us really chose children. So I actually think also on top of that, the men are better parents and they're more nurturing. I know. I'm not saying
this is a head scratcher.
This is just what I think. So don't put this on them.
Just to finish my point, can I just?
It's like if we wanted to, we would, but we don't.
Can I just finish? Can I just finish my point? Sorry. We also, I get that they're women who do make terrible choices. They want a bad man, they want a gun shooter. They think that it's the aesthetic. They like it. But we also have to account for the fact that a lot of women get into relationships very hopeful. They don't envision themselves 10 years down the line to be a single mum, raising their kids alone, struggling to make ends meet. Women want families. Can't remember what I was going to say, but I feel...
pick it. So women pick it. Let's pick it.
What I remember now. So sometimes people change. In the span of a year, someone can change drastically depending on financial circumstance, mental health change, physical health change. We, as women and as men, we can't predict, we can't preempt what someone's going to do to us in 10 years' time based on the facts that we have now. The man may be the most responsible, loving person as he is right now, but I can't then travel 10 years down the line into the future and decide, how's he going to treat me? Is he going to divorce me? If I know that he's going to divorce me, if I know that he's going to be a deadbeat dad, obviously I'm not going to jump into that relationship.
Who divorces who? But who divorces who? Like
women divorce men at higher rates. Yes.
Okay. So women are the ones divorcing men.
Yeah.
But
why?
So why? It's stupid reasons, actually.
And what would you define as stupid reasons? It's all subjective, isn't it?
I want to define myself.
That's stupid.
I've heard I've outgrew him. I've heard that so much.
I got bored.
But in most cases, those aren't.
It's the rule. It's not the exception. And I'll tell you what. I've done this for a year.
Okay.
Wow, that's so long.
That's not a long time.
It's 1,000 people. That's a
women
lot.
are marriages for
1,000 people.
Look. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but women are in marriages longer than we've been alive. We're under 30. things happen. You can't just go into something.
I think that women project things onto men. I have unpopular opinions. So, you know, I'm not saying
I get it. I respect it.
But I think that I actually think that women, you know, we say, oh no, men change. You know, women are the ones that change. They're the ones that
we do change.
Yeah, and I don't think men. I think men are generally the same.
No, they become complacent for sure.
No, okay, but how many times have you dated a guy and all your friends said there was a red flag? Your parents said it was a red flag. They said, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I've done that. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he was the same. But you tried to change him. Typically. That's typically what happens. And I'm not saying I'm any better than any woman. I'm not saying I've never done that. Like, okay. But I'm just saying that's what we do. Men, they just want us to stay the same. They just want us to not change. Don't get fat. Then 80% of women gain 20 plus pounds in the first 5 years of marriage. They just want us to keep sleeping with them.
I mean, you know, there's some factors that are uncontrollable. I've seen not a lot, I can't lie, I'm not going to lie. So I've seen some cases where women have gotten sick, they've had terminal illnesses.
Can we stick to the rule, not the exception?
Okay, so what are the rules?
The rules are women just like to eat more.